Jonathan Hickman.
Jonathan Hickman.
Not a hack. Does awesome work.
And I think he really should get more recognition for what he does. But the language that he uses here, and this is the total opposite of decompression. I mean,
Yes.
he crams a lot of stuff into each page, even to this double spread that Jose referred to, where you just have a little corner portrait of the characters, and you basically have a script of everything that they're saying. I would love to see. I think if a letterer tried to actually put these words in word balloons, they would probably have a conniption and die. It's just way too much. But this is the opposite of decompression. He puts a lot in here, but the language, the visual language, is really advanced. I don't know if kids, like say 10 and 11, can pick this up and get it.
I don't think so.
It's really not just the sophisticated material that they're reading, but it's a sophisticated language in regards to understanding what Hickman intends to do with each layout.
Yes.
So what do you think, is that what keeps the book from selling?
You know what? I think that's what it is. It's too wordy. You know.
Well, I mean, maybe not even wordy. I mean, because he's made comments himself about how wordy his stuff is. But I think just that.
But see, when I pay $3.50 for a comic book, this is what I want. I want substance. I want to feel like I paid $2.99, $3.50, and I got my money out of this book. All right. Like there's so many books nowadays that I don't feel that way, like anymore. It's like Punisher War Journal, not the one that came out this week, but the one that came out 2 weeks ago, Howard Chaykin. Matt Fraction, again, another great writer, but I finished it within 5 minutes. There just wasn't a lot of dialogue. It was a really cool story, but I mean, I didn't feel like I got my $3 out of it.
Especially these days when you have so many other types of media to read. And media, I mean, even magazines, like People Magazine, Entertainment Weekly, they're making it so that you can read it pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So we're asking, in this case, even a book like Pax Romana is going the opposite. It's that salmon going upstream, whereas all the other media is dumbing it down to make it more accessible.
And that's why people need to support this book. That's why people need to support books like this, because it's just I mean, comics, the industry kind of has gone that way, but I don't want it turning into like what Hollywood's turned into. I don't want every book to be fucking Meet the Spartans, which is what like 75% of the books are now. I don't, I do want good books to come out, like good films, and if I'm gonna pay $10 to see a movie, I don't want to see a movie that I could have written with like a bunch of kindergartners.
I think Meet the Spartans was written by kindergartners.
It sure felt that way.
I think it was.
You know what, man? I saw the trailer and that was enough for me.
I think.
And the fact that movie came in at #1 the week that it was released, shame on every single one of you that made that movie #1. Jesus Christ. And then shame on all you for going to see Step Up to the Streets the first week and letting it rake in $22 million.
Okay, so since now our train is going that direction, there's a young lady at work who went to see Step Up 2 twice, and I mean, how different is that?
Is she into lolcats too?
I don't. She's young. She's like, she's 18, and and that movie's not much different than when.
Don't compare it to Breakin'. Because
come on, Breakin' 2, Electric Boogaloo.
It doesn't need a comparison. But again, like everyone remembers the movie because it was so fucking awful. Like I'm not gonna.
It's a cultural touchstone.
It is. Unfortunately, it is.
It's a cultural touchstone. And let's face it, people went to see it. It struck a chord. It keyed into a trend or a fad or whatever you want to call it. But I don't even want to call it a fad too, because if it were just a fad, we wouldn't be talking about it today.
That's true, but the thing I have a problem with is that now, by the way, people, thank you, they're doing Step Up 3D. They're doing.
Oh no!
I'm not shitting you.
No.
They're doing a sequel to it, and it's gonna be in 3D.
3D,
it's gonna be in
step
IMAX.
up 3D.
So,
Wow.
for every bad movie that gets a sequel because people paid money, it's that company is taking away probably good money that should be going to a good script that no one would even, there's just scripts out there probably sitting there that should be made, and it's just because the same shit gets recycled over and over and over again. And I mean, it is kind of the 90s, well now 2000s. Millennium.
Yeah, it's 2008. We're going to be in the 2010 soon.
Yeah, the 80s was, the decade of sequels. I mean, that's when all the sequels started coming out. But man, like the last few years, that's all that. Like every big summer movie was a sequel.
Die Hard 4.
Die Hard 4, Pirates of the Caribbean 16, fucking Spider-Man. I mean, Shrek. I mean, there has to be original ideas out there. But all of the original movies all come out around December and January, so they get nominated for Oscars, so they get noticed. Like There Will Be Blood, and that's when the good films come out.
Right. But the summer movies are just basically,
except for Indiana Jones. That's gonna be fun.
Indiana Jones 4 is gonna rock.
It is gonna.
It's
be awesome.
gonna rock. I mean, I as of this moment, I want to believe that. I really don't want it to be
Alien Skulls.
Spoiler alert, dude. Spoiler alert. Okay, wait, spoiler alert.
Yeah,
Although we already spoiled you, but yeah, Alien Skulls. I'm into it. I dig it. A lot of people aren't very happy with it. I can deal with it.
You can deal with Alien Skulls?
I can deal with Alien Skulls. In fact, I embrace Alien Skulls.
Man, you're everything that's wrong with this fucking.
Well,
I mean, but I've never thought. I mean, yeah, Indiana Jones. Some of those movies are a throwback to pulps and to serials, and I get that feeling, but it's like it's always been. The tone has never gone sci-fi.
But it's like I don't know if it'll go sci-fi, but I mean, come on, let's face it. Indiana Jones, like say, discovers an ancient civilization that was created by aliens. That's just as much pulpish and comic booky and 60s and 50s cinema as anything else.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, and I mean, right there, I think that's the movie does take place in the 50s.
The 50s, right?
It's not in the 30s.
Not in the 30s.
That's right. That's
Harrison Ford is just too old.
All right, you sold me, man.
Sold you. Although I will, for someone who's totally into the Indiana Jones. I don't like the idea of a gray-haired Harrison Ford on a box of Hostess Ho-Hos. Have you seen those? Have you seen, like, Harrison Ford is on the cover of everything now.
Yeah,
and it's not even the young Indy, it's the older Indy.
Yeah.
Although if they put him in a box of Wheaties, I'm so there.
That would be kind of cool.
That would rock.
But it's not, I mean, it is Harrison Ford, but it's Indiana Jones, and, I don't know, man. It's the marketing machine. It's gotta, I mean...
Well, marketing.
It's all about...